So what you guys are using is the Eugene East topographic map, and what you'll notice is it's a rectangle. That's the first thing, right? Everybody can agree it's a rectangle. And it's taller north-south than it is east-west. But it's covering 7 minutes 30 seconds of latitude and 7 minutes 30 seconds of longitude. So why wouldn't it be a square? Right, because we're at 45 degrees. We're almost halfway to the North Pole. And so longitude lines are closer together than latitude lines. And you see that on this map. If we were looking at a map, a topo map of 7.5, 7.5 at the equator, it'd be a square. If we were looking at one at 89 degrees, it'd probably be a little tiny sliver, right? That was as tall as these maps, but just a really thin line between those lines of longitude. So if you look at the northeast corner of your map, you will see that the top of the map, the north edge of the map is at 44 degrees, 7 minutes, 30 seconds. So you can see that right up there. And the bottom of the map is 40 degrees. So the south part of the map is 40 degrees. The top of the map is 44, 7 minutes, 30 seconds. Yep, 44 degrees at the southern part, and the top is 44, 730. Okay, so those are the degrees of latitude. Now, I'm talking about relative location when I say south of the map, right? We're in the northern hemisphere. So that location is 44 degrees north, even though I'm talking about it being in the southern corner. Yeah, Ben? I don't know. Is yours Eugene East? How weird. I wonder if I don't have the Eugene East. Does everybody say Mohawk on there? Does anybody else say Marcola? Is it just mine? Wow. So they're different generations of maps. Nice. Good noticing. Yeah, so what that map, that name to the upper right-hand corner should mean the next map that's on that angle. So I don't know what you'd look for now, unless they've just remapped it and named it differently. Whew. Okay, so let's look. Wonder if I did. Yeah. So if you look at the southern edge of the map, you're going to see that in the lower right-hand corner or the southeast corner of the map, it shows 123 degrees longitude east. And in the western edge of the map, it shows 123 degrees, 7 minutes, 30 seconds, right? So we've got 7.5 degrees of longitude, 7.5 degrees of latitude going both ways, all right? Cool. Next. So, I don't know if this is workable, but we will try this. So, on the map, there are very few tick marks that indicate a change in latitude and longitude. And if you look up that eastern edge of the map, you're going to see a little bit of a mark that says 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And then up above that is 5 minutes. Everybody find that on that right-hand side, on that eastern edge? 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and 5 minutes. Did you get that? Yeah, you got it. 5 minutes, 30. So we're looking up this side. So 5 minutes, 2.5. Yeah. Right. That's pretty good. Okay. Yeah. So the map only gives you 2.5-minute levels of latitude and longitude in order to locate something. That's pretty big distance. If I wanted to find buried treasure, I've got a lot of land to dig up, right? I mean, they're not giving me much help there. And then on the bottom, you see the same thing. There's 2.5 minutes of longitude and 5 minutes of longitude. So this location here where I'm kind of hovering that mouse is negative 123, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. This is negative 123, 5 minutes, negative 123, 7 minutes, 30 seconds. Yeah, Jared? It doesn't really mean it's a starting point. It's just where that degree, that longitude line happened to be on this map. Okay? Some of them don't start out that evenly. So it was really nice that we got one that started with whole degrees for that. So this is really a big area to try to pinpoint. If I wanted to give you location, and the closest I can do is I want to meet you at minus 123, 205. I mean, I can only get you where those corners cross. That's as close as I can get with the map the way it is. However, here's some stuff I know about the degrees, the minutes, and seconds. Can you find the halfway point on the latitude between 44 and 44, 230? Could you figure out what is halfway up the map between that line? Yeah, between here and here, or here and here, where would halfway be? Okay, so you could find that pretty easy, right? And so what would that location be? What's half of 2.5? Yeah. So the new location would be 1 minute 15 seconds, right? Half of 2 minutes is 1 minute, and half of 30 seconds is 15 seconds. So my new location is 1 minute 15 seconds. So I could get pretty close that way. And I could divide that in half again. So half, if I wanted to go a quarter of the way between that first mark, I could divide that 1:15 in half, and I would have half of 1 minute is 30 seconds, and half of 15 seconds is 7.5. I could add those together, and my new location would be 40 degrees, 37.5. Right? I could get pretty close with this. Yeah, Josh? Those are the transverse Mercator lines, and those are in meters, which we'll use on Thursday, and those are way easier. So I'll give you the hard one first. Yes? Okay. So we'll deal with that in a little bit. Okay, so what I want you to do is to take one of those strips of paper and make a ruler. And the ruler is going to start, it's going to be a latitude ruler first, and you're going to lay it down on your map, and you're going to mark 44 degrees, and then you're going to mark the 44 degrees, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and then mark the halfway and then the quarter way on your latitude ruler. So when you've done that with the latitude, you'll do the same thing with a different strip of paper for the longitude, but the longitude ruler should be about half the size. Yeah, it shouldn't be that long. Okay. And so then you can use your rulers to measure locations of things by just kind of putting that up there. And so here's some things you can practice with. The one we're going to do in class is to measure the location of the center building, which is that purple building by number 3. And remember, you're going to write latitude first and then longitude, and you're going to put it on the whiteboard, and we'll see who can get close to that. Good question. Somebody asked why it should be negative 123, because we're in the Western Hemisphere, and the topo maps just assume you know that, and they don't put that on there because there's so many tick marks running around on the edges of that map. So if you don't put negative 123, you will end up in China, which is not a bad thing, but it's not where you want to be right now. Right?